Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're seeing me for the very first time, hello, my name is Amara and welcome to my channel. I really hope that you will subscribe to my channel. So today we are going to be talking about the most asked question on my DM. It's all about housing, how to find the perfect apartment, accommodation as a foreign student. I know that as a foreign student, accommodation is one of the things you really have to struggle with. Well, honey, the search is over because I am here to give you everything you need to know about accommodation in Germany as a foreign student. But before then, I want you to do one thing and one thing only for me. Please hit the subscribe button down below and join the family. So first of all, let's start out with the type of accommodation you will find here as a student, or even in general. Yeah, even if you're working as a student, you have the opportunity to live in a student hostel. Your school provides this hostel. Like all those universities in Germany have not less than 5 hostels for their students. I would really suggest that you look there first. That should be your starting point. Hostels are usually applied for through the school's website, so you might want to check your school website to see what they have for accommodation. The next thing you might get is an apartment, which is outside your hostel. Yeah, so such apartments are privately owned, which means that it's not owned by your school. Simple, like that's the definition. It's not owned by your school, rather by individuals, and you have to go sort for them. Honestly, such apartments are mostly so difficult for students to get because as a student, your source of income is maybe not guaranteed. You have to juggle from job to job, and sometimes people get scared that as a student you do not have the required financial need to rent out such apartments. Lastly, we have the VG. I've talked about it one time in my channel. VG is a situation where 3 to 4, depending on how many rooms the apartment has, people come together and they live in that apartment. They share the room, but then the sitting room, toilet and kitchen are being shared. So these are the 3 main types of accommodations you can find in Germany, especially as a student. Now let's talk about each of this type further. For the student hostel, sometimes you can also find apartments in the student hostels, or it's just made up of a room. Like on the floor of a building, there could be, I don't know, 5 to 15 rooms on a particular floor, and then you get to share the kitchen with other people, or sometimes they are being shared into tiny apartments that you get to have your own kitchen and bathroom inside your room. Or sometimes you just have only your kitchen, you get to share the toilet, or you have the toilet and then you get to share the kitchen. It's quite different. Like there are so many varieties of what you could get in a student hostel. And in student hostel, it's very important to note that you do not pay for electricity or water bills separately. Everything is being calculated in the rent you pay, so you don't have to worry yourself about all that. However, if you decide to go for a private apartment, you should just know that you will be paying your house rent and also your electricity and your water bill and sometimes your waste bill as well. Then in the VG living situation, you just have to contribute. So the people living in the apartment have to contribute the money for the rent, for the electricity, and yada yada, whatever else you're paying in the apartment. So in that way, you do not have to bear the cost alone, but then you have to share your space with other people. Now coming to the rent. In Germany, we have something we call Kaltmiete and Warmmiete. Nebenkosten is just what you pay in addition to your rent. It's usually your trash, your water, and then any other renovation or whatever is going on in the building. So it's usually like half of the main rent or a little bit lower than that. For example, you see a vacancy of an apartment that costs 200 euros, and then they tell you that the Nebenkosten is 100 euros. For example, at the end of the day you are paying 300 euros, and this 300 euros is what we call van meter here. So whenever you're looking for an apartment, please make sure to ask for the van meter, because if you go for the calt meter, you're literally paying just half of your rent. So make sure you ask for the van meter so you know what you're dealing with at the end of the day. And also in this private apartment, you get to pay your electricity bills yourself. Like I do, I pay my electricity bills myself. I don't pay my water bill, it's included in the Nebenkosten you grab. So I just pay my house rent and my electricity bill. So that's just the difference between private apartments or private houses and hostels. I once lived in the hostel. Only thing I had to pay was just my rent, so I didn't need to like pay any other thing, which was quite cheap. But then, you know, you're trading your comfort for a few coins. Accommodation in Germany can be very expensive. As a student, the accommodation could range anything from 200 upwards, depending on what you are looking for, the number of rooms, the location, and all that. So just budget nothing less than 200 euros for your accommodation. Coming here as a foreign student, let's say for example you're still in your country and you're looking for a way to find an accommodation. It's quite difficult to get an accommodation here in Germany while in another country, because people here have trust issues, especially when it comes to foreign people. Like, there's no guarantee you're coming to take the house or any other thing. I really do not know how to spin the issue of finding an accommodation whilst in your country. I don't know how you're going to do that. So most people that I've seen do get in contact through social media with the people that are studying in that same university or maybe in the same city, and kind of squat with them for, I don't know, a few months before they get their apartments. I'm not sure anyone wants to rent out their apartment to you while you're still in another country. Like, it makes sense. I don't know how to do that, but I am so certain that hostels do give you accommodation while you're still in your country. But that one I know for sure. But when it comes to private apartments, I'm not sure that's gonna work. It's always very good to make contact before your resumption date or before the day you get here, so you're kind of sure of where you're going to stay. That is if you are not able to afford like hostels that are being paid for, like in sort of hotels and all that. So if you're not able to afford such guest houses or Airbnb or a hotel for a few weeks before you get your own place, make sure to search for someone who is in the city and kind of work something out with the person. I know it's not always ideal, but I really do not know what else one can do in such situation. And like I said, I've seen so many people do it, so it works. Now moving forward to a few websites where you could find accommodation. At the end of this video, I will share with you guys how I found my apartment. It's actually what a lot of the people have been sleeping on. So watch this video to the end to find out how I found my own apartment, and maybe you could find yours. Moving forward to the website or the apps where you could find accommodation, number one on top of my list will be eBay Kleinanzeigen. Don't go for the normal eBay, because when you go for the normal eBay, to just bring the London eBay for you. But when you put eBay Kleinanzeigen, that's the German version of eBay. It's going to be somewhere here on the screen. So when you go in there and you basically have to type in, I think I'm just going to share my screen with you guys and show you how it works. You basically have to just type in what you're looking for, and then you have the filter option to kind of filter maybe the price or the number of rooms or maybe location. So it's really good because on eBay we have decent apartments that you could rent, but mind you, these apartments are only private apartments. Number two will be Immobilien Scout. Immobilien Scout is an app that deals with everything accommodation. They advertise so many things when it comes to accommodation: houses, plots of land, rooms, vacays, all of them. You can see them on Immobilien Scout. So they kind of upload pictures of any vacancy they have. It's an app where private homeowners upload the pictures of their home and then just the details, and if you're interested you just click on them, and most of the times the number of the agent is always there, or the email address. So you just get in contact and you set out a date to come inspect it and all that. So Immobilien Scout is really a good app that I would recommend if you are looking for an accommodation. So we have another one called Vegegesucht. I've actually never used this one at all, but I've heard so many people say it's actually good. What I use most of the time is eBay Kleinanzeigen, honestly, or even the Immobilien Scout. So the last but not the least, drum rolls, how I found my own apartment. I found it actually in the newspaper. Yes, Germans are quite traditional. They sometimes do not let go, so they always still use what they have been using a long time ago. Like literally, who puts up vacancies in newspaper? But guys, you people should stop sleeping on newspaper. After the day I found this apartment, I started reading the newspaper, like so many vacancies, job vacancies, even when someone is packing out and they want to do like an auction sale or get rid of everything, all of them are there in the newspaper. So I would suggest today you go grab that newspaper that you threw away. You know that newspaper that always drop for you at your post box, and you kind of wrinkle it and put it in the trash. Bring it out because you're gonna need it. You might see something good there, so you can bring it out. Okay, so yeah, I found mine actually in the newspaper, which is why I will also recommend that you sometimes check the newspaper. It's usually on the last page if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, newspaper is also one of the ways which you can find an accommodation. So how it works is that people who have put up this post leave their numbers there. So in my own case, I just had to call, and an appointment was set. I came, I looked at it. When I came here for the inspection, someone was still living here. So I came, I loved it, I fell in love immediately. Like, and I was looking for an accommodation because I had already started school, and mind you, I moved cities. So I am now in Duisburg. So I was really desperate looking for something. So after inspection, mind you, you're not the only one who is invited for this inspection, so some other people come. So it's always good to show interest and also be serious about it, so they will know that you really want it. So what happened was that he gave me a form to fill where I had to write like my address, my current address, my occupation, how much I earn, which is very important. People ask how much you earn while looking for an apartment, because nobody wants to come and be chasing you up and down for their house rent, and they also want to make sure that you can even afford it in the first place. So I had to put so many details and all that. At the end of the day, I felt like it wasn't enough because I had really fallen in love with this place and I couldn't imagine not getting it. So what I did was I wrote them a little message on WhatsApp, just giving them a few points why I think that I am the best candidate, why I think that I am the best person for this apartment. Is usually something that I do. Like when I want something, I go over and beyond to get it, not in a negative way, but I kind of put in my 100% to get that thing. Like I take the extra step. So my friend was like, yeah, you have to write step 1 and tell them that you're very serious about it. So I constructed a very detailed and good message with all my heart, telling them why I am the best candidate. So it didn't even take up to 24 hours. They wrote me back. We're like, yeah, we're excited to let you know that you've gotten the apartment. I was so happy. Moving forward on the topic caution fee. Caution fee is what you pay to guarantee that whenever you're leaving this place and you have done any harm to anything in the apartment, like you've spoiled it, the money for the repair and everything will be taken from that caution fee. In Germany we call it Kaution, and this is normally 2 times of your Kaltmiete. Do you still remember what Kaltmiete is? Then we have the Nebenkosten, which is utility fee. Utility fee does not come into the caution fee. It's just the Kaltmiete. Sometimes 2 times or 3 times, and sometimes some people are graceful enough to let you pay installmentally, like in 2 months or 3 months you're done, because it's usually a whole lot of money. I did like this. I remember when I paid mine, it wasn't funny. It wasn't. So with that being said, I think I've said everything that I have here. See, I wrote it down. This is how I prepare for my videos, so I think that I've said everything that I have to say. If you still have questions, do let me know in the comment section below. Do not forget to follow me on Instagram, where I also get to answer your questions one-on-one. And please subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye.